encourage somebody on today to trust in God. We're going to look at a couple examples today. The first example we're going to look at is Brother Job. He was a good example of what it means to trust in God. Yes, Brother Job was stricken from his head to his toe with boils. Brother Job lost all his kids. He lost his cattle, and his wife had the nerve to pooch up her lips and tell him to curse God and die. But I'm glad Brother Job did not rationalize her statement, but he stepped out on faith and said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Oh yes, there are benefits to serving God and trusting in him. For the benefit Job received was that he was blessed double in the end than he was in the beginning. Yes, that is our example. Our non-example of trusting God, we can look at the children of Israel. Yes, they were in bondage. They were enslaved in captivity. But God raised up a leader in Moses to take them out into the promised land. Oh yes, when they left, they walked across a dry ground as the Red Sea was parted. Amen. When they got across the sea, that's all right, this is the live version. All right, so they got across the sea, yes, and doubt began to creep up. Yes, they didn't trust completely in God because they began to look at their circumstances, and they doubted in God, and what they did was they questioned God when they questioned Moses. Oh yes, why do you say they questioned God when they questioned Moses? Because our leaders are the direct oracles of God. They are his mouthpiece. So saints, when we question our leader, we question God. Yes, they pooched up their lips and asked him, have you brought us out here to die? Where's the food? Where's the water? They doubted in God. And oh yes, Brother Moses did not receive God's promise because he died in the wilderness. All right, and if those examples are too far-fetched for you, say, Sister Harris, that happened too long ago. Well, allow me to testify. I am a teacher, and in March, I bought a new car. In July, I moved, and my rent went up significantly. Yes, when I returned to work back in August, the first day we returned, I was told that our district board of education had imposed a pay cut on all the teachers in our district, and I was furious. They told us to go to the credit union and go ahead and get a hardship loan. I went to the credit union, but I was denied. Yes, I was denied. So I walked away singing Ty Tribbett. I have no other choice but to trust you. Yes, I went home, saints, and instead of crawling up in my bed and fretting, instead of crying my eyes out and trying to figure out what can I do, I did what the mothers taught me to do, was to fall on my knees and pray. Yes, I did. I asked God. I told him, Lord, you told me you would supply all of my needs according to your riches and glory. I know he didn't open up that door just to have it shut in my face. So I got up off my knees. I continued to work. Yes, and I trusted in God. My first paycheck came, and I looked at it, and I knew that I had worked registration, so it was a little extra on that check. But my second check came, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, well, this must be a mistake. My third check came, and I knew that something was in error. I pulled out my calculator, and I was trying to add up the numbers. What happened? Okay, here's my deductions. This is what it should be. This is what they said it should be, because they told me my salary was cut. But then when I got my paycheck on this year, every single check I've received has been more than I received on last year. Saints, it pays to trust in God. You can trust in God because his promises are yea and amen. You can trust in God because he'll never put more on you than you can bear. Oh yes, saints, he can do exceedingly abundantly above all that you would ask or even think, according to the power that works in us. Oh yes, he said he'll never leave you, nor will he forsake you. He will be there with you always, even until the end of the world. Oh yes, he has been my Jehovah Jireh, and if you trust him, he'll be your Jehovah Jireh too. Look at your neighbor and tell him, trust in God.